Hello and welcome everyone to a special production of CD Projekt Red. My name is Nerial. I am Senior Community and Social Media Manager here, and I am also joined by my colleague.
Hi, my name's Marcin Łukaszewski. I'm a Social Media and Community Manager at CD Projekt Red, and I am happy to introduce you to two more wonderful people that we've brought along for this amazing production. Can you guys introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Oscar from Nerial. I'm the narrative designer on Reigns the Witcher.
And I'm François. I'm the creative director of Nerial and the founder of the studio.
And we're really excited that you guys are here because I have the game right in front of me, so I'm trying not to look at it because if I look at it, I will start playing it. But we've been kind of addicted to the game. Like, we've been swiping nonstop for a couple days now since it came out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we just wanted to talk about the game, pick your brains a bit. We'll play the game soon and figure out everything that there is to know about Reigns the Witcher.
Plus, we've also got a couple of questions from the community because they've also been curious about what's going on behind the scenes when you're playing the game. Like, how are some mechanics working? How did you figure them out? How did you find the perfect mix, the perfect balance of The Witcher and Reigns formulas? And there's a lot of questions that we have for you.
Start with the first one.
Yeah, let's start with the first one. What is Reigns the Witcher?
So, if you want the original Reigns, in the original Reigns, you play as a king, taking decision by swiping left and right. So you make your regal decisions about your kingdom by swapping casually left and right. And in the process, you will eventually die relatively quickly, actually. And you go to the next king in the dynasty, and so on and so forth. You build a dynasty like this. And in Reigns the Witcher, you play basically, each of the run is like a song that Dandelion is singing to an audience, and it's telling the stories of Geralt in the world of the Witcher. So in the end, Geralt will die, and Geralt will die a lot, but that's intended, that's part of the formula, if you want.
Very grim setup, I would say.
But it turns fun.
I mean, yeah, dying is fun in Reigns, so I heard, so I've played.
Yeah, and I guess Reigns it kind of has a medieval vibe for the whole series, and Witcher 3 obviously does as well. What inspired you guys to kind of bring those two franchises together?
Well, when we're looking for a franchise for Reigns, obviously we're looking for like a big, inspiring world, and we love The Witcher. We're huge fans of the games, read the books a lot. But also, a key thing with Reigns is binary choices. Like, you get hit by a character and they give you a tricky dilemma and you swipe left or right. And we realized that The Witcher is perfect for that because Geralt's always wandering this morally grey world and he's constantly being faced with impossible dilemmas. So that was like a perfect fit, actually, for the Reigns format.
Yeah, and like, what was the process like, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, you had to work with our lore masters. What was that?
Yes, we did. We had lots of very interesting work with the lore master, who were very nice to us.
Yes, surprisingly
Great,
cuddly.
great. We'll tell our lore masters that.
But they have a very deep knowledge of the world, and so it was very interesting to work with them and to make sure that every part of our game was really pitch perfect, and we really worked on that. Like, every week we had a meeting with lore masters and other people at CD Player, so that was a very interesting and deep process.
Well, it's a good thing you bring up the lore masters because that was, I'd say, like a main challenge going into it was we really wanted to make sure it felt authentically Witcher. Like, we really wanted to pay respect to that world. The game's set within the songs of Dandelion, so that helps a bit on that front because we have a bit of leeway to be a bit more playful. You know, Dandelion exaggerates and gets drunk, and we can play around with the lore a bit with that. But it still has to be something that Dandelion would plausibly invent. So that was a key challenge. But one thing on that side that worked surprisingly well, I think, was like a natural fit was the tone, because the world of The Witcher you think of as very dark and harrowing, but it also actually has a lot of dark comedy. And so Reigns is supposed to be like a light, funny game, and actually slotting in like a card where Geralt replies, "What now, you piece of filth," or whatever. Like those lines just fit really well.
Some of my favorite moments in The Witcher 3 are the funny ones, not the serious ones. Because
Sure.
like, how much can you take, right? Like you need to
Yeah.
have that
Yeah,
release.
yeah.
at
You
a
need
certain
the
point.
light relief with Rich
Yeah.
as well, for instance. And yeah, you get that in our game. Sure.
So you said that it's all the story of Reigns the Witcher is told through Dandelion's songs, right? So he's kind of like a medieval influencer, sort of gathering. Like that's how I perceive.
Influencer.
That's how I perceive. Like when I was playing it, like he's gathering followers. He's gathering his audiences, trying to make them happy. It's like a content creator,
Yeah.
right?
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for Dandelion.
But it's actually a big part of the game is trying to balance between what you want to the audience to feel and make sure that the audience gets a thrill and romance and a lot of what makes a good story, while you're trying to survive as Gerald in this sort of weird stories. So we try to make sure the players kind of balance is a bit between both of these elements all the time.
A lot to go through.
I think it's actually going to be not just like telling. Telling is part of the story, but maybe let's show
Showing.
our audiences some of the game.
Showing
It's going to be
them.
easier to explain some of the
Yeah,
elements.
I
that
mean, I'll
of
get
the
into it
game.
a little bit, but I guess as I go into it, maybe you could also help explain, how would you describe what Reigns the Witcher is to another Witcher fan who maybe has not played a Reigns game?
Yeah. So if you want, you play as a Geralt, okay? So you're looking at different characters who talk to you, and you answer by swapping left or right. And each time you make an answer, you will see that it has consequences on the 4 values at the top of the screen. So these 4 values, in Reigns, as you were managing a kingdom, that was like the faith, the people, the money, and the army. But in Reigns the Witcher, we had to try a different approach.
Because you're not a king, right?
No, you're kind of an outcast in the middle of this world, and you're trying to keep the balance between different factions who you are not really part of. So you're neither a mage, nor a human, not really a non-human either. So you're a bit in between. So the first 3 values that you got at the top of the screen are the humans, the non-humans, and the mage and sorceress. And basically, so that's the main 3 factions. And the 4th one that you see is the monster hunting value. So this one is more about your quests and the contracts you got for monsters. And when that one is full, you will have a fight.
So that's why it's flashing green ominously at
Yes.
me.
It's flashing
Yes.
green ominously because you are too good of a witcher.
Yes.
You have drawn monsters towards you.
So, and when you get to a maximum or a minimum, when the gauge, one of these 4 values is empty or full, you will die, and death.
Well, speaking of death, I guess we're coming to it. But I think
Yes.
we're going to go
Yeah.
into combat.
So, like, because I know what's going to happen right now.
Yeah.
Nerial is going to enter combat, and a different part of the game is going to start, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be swiping left or right anymore, but instead it's going to be more about tapping.
Yes.
Yeah, because the 2 choices are damn you're ugly and damn you're ugly, and
Yes.
I think I'm about to.
A fight is coming. Yeah.
Does it matter which side she chooses, left or right?
No, not that one.
You're
Oh
stuck.
my gosh. Okay, so when I was playing this on my own, I swear I was good. Okay.
I mean, you're getting
Oh
there.
my gosh, what do I do here?
Tap,
So
tap.
tap. Yeah, so we try to recreate the feeling of the fights in Witcher, if you want.
Yeah, I'm stressing. My heart rate is.
And maybe that's because you're on camera right now.
No, it's the fight. No, what do I do in this part?
It's fine. You're good. You're doing well.
I keep missing the sword. Oh, yes. Okay, now I gotta.
No, that's not done.
Oh,
And
wait, left.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
here we go. Here we go. Here
Now
we go.
it's. Oh, what do I do here? This is.
This is fine.
It's fine.
No.
No,
It's fine, it's
wait.
fine.
You got one more sword to pick up?
Oh no.
Don't worry.
Oh no, you're so close.
I swear I was okay before.
Yeah.
Okay, so this brings us to our first death.
Yes.
Which
maybe
is
you can-
important in range.
Yes, it is important. So I'm not going to feel too bad, although I kind of feel a little bit bad. But maybe you can go into the death mechanic a little bit. Let's see what death we got. Oh, that's gory.
Yeah.
You look like you've been sliced and diced.
Yeah. Yes, deaths are a really central part in our Reigns games. Don't feel too bad that you died.
Okay.
The idea is that in some ways they're positive, you know, they're a collectible. We always have, the structure of the Reigns game is always that you go off on a loop. Like Francois was saying earlier, in the original, you're playing as a king and you die, and then you take over as the successor. So the world evolves and you die. But Geralt doesn't have successors, so we needed like a frame to allow for all these deaths. So we framed it in these songs of Dandelion, which worked well for that. And then it means that the deaths you get are like, you can think of them like you were saying, he's a bit of a content creator, and it's a satisfying ending to a song. So in this game in particular, it's beneficial to get them because you can use them in puzzles for performances outside of the main runs as well.
Okay,
So
thank you
don't feel too bad.
Thank you for making me feel better
Since
about that.
we're starting a new run just
Yes.
now, and you mentioned inspirations. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about inspiration as the game mechanic, because I know every run starts with you choosing your inspiration, and the more you gather them, you have opportunities to redraw them, like find the perfect balance for starting a run.
Yes, yeah, so this again it's a bit of an evolution actually on the previous Reigns feature where, yes, you have a 3 inspirations at the start of each run. Again, they fit with the Dandelion frame. The idea is that they're inspirations in Dandelion's head, they're ideas he's had to perform. And yeah, and then they flavor the run. They both like change the run itself. So they might change the way the header values move, change the characters that can come up, can unlock quest lines.
Yeah.
But then also they give you objectives. So you're actually trying to you're trying to get 3 stars in the inspirations, and that will help with the score of the song at the end.
Trying to decide what to do right now.
Yeah.
Read
What
this.
choice do you
My
have?
wife goes out every eve to watch the sirens. Kill them, and I shall see if she still uses this lie. I'm sure she's cheating. Not my place. Kill the sirens.
Which is a better option?
Depends if you kill the sirens, you're being quite violent, so you might get towards a combat again more quickly. I don't know if you want that or not.
But then again, you're fulfilling your role as a Witcher, right?
Yes.
That's true. That's
You stay
true.
on
You
the
know
path,
what?
so-
Let's go the siren. The
That's
witch.
always something that gets me when I'm playing Reigns, because I'm used to making my choices and living with the consequences in The Witcher 3, for example. I'm always considering like being the good guy, trying to make the best choices. But in Reigns, it's not about that, right? Like you cannot fulfill your personal choices. You got to think about the broader picture.
Yeah.
You got to balance everything out, right?
Yeah, you have to keep the audience happy and find new ways to please the audience. Too.
Yeah.
They don't just want the same story over and over. You have to try to find, oh no, another fight.
Oh, this time it's, I believe, an Ecker.
Yes.
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 Ooh.
All right. Okay.
And
Right.
every fight with each enemy is a little bit different, right? Like they have different obstacles for you to try and avoid. And
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we try to get the feeling of The Witcher, you know, of this sort of dancing, fighting, where Geralt is sort of going around the enemies, jumping around, having this very acrobatic feeling of the fight. We try to recreate that in our very simple system, which is based on switching, swiping left and right.
that was a swift
I did
death.
that on
I'll
purpose.
just say,
I'm very skilled. I did that on purpose.
So these fights are a bit like in Crypt of a Necrodancer, if you know. It's
Yeah.
a very good game,
Connect.
a bit rhythm-based, if you want.
And yeah, we brought in a bunch of special abilities for certain monsters as they come through. We tried to like reflect a bit of the playstyle from the games as well. So like there's a Brooks screams at you, and Rock Troll throws rocks at you. And then also there are Witcher signs at the bottom that you can hop on to fire back, and they behave kind of similarly to in the CDPR games. It was quite fun trying to translate that into our mini game.
Are there any Easter eggs that you'd be willing to share?
are you asking that because Easter's just around the corner?
I'm just curious as I'm playing and we have all these Witcher references. You know, I'm sure they had fun.
Yes, well, I don't want to give too many spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But the premise of the game, as we said, is to like achieve immortality for Dandelion essentially through song. And towards the end, you can perform a song which also can achieve immortality for Geralt. And then the sort of more obvious way to do that is through something very heroic and impressive. But you could also let him go down in history for more bizarre reasons.
It's kind of ironic when you think about it, achieving immortality through dying.
Right.
Many, many times in very creative ways. Speaking of dying, there's a lot of that in Rings, right? Like, what's your favorite kind of death that Geralt encounters?
Ooh. Well, I really love when you drop the header value for monster hunting all the way to 0. It's like Geralt's failed on his path, his purpose as a monster hunter. And so the death on that one is he has to reskill, he has to find a new job. So it's quite funny imagining Geralt going out to the
try to
careers
get that.
office.
Yeah.
And the artwork for that is a reference to something as well. So Helena, our artist, did
interesting.
something really cool with that one.
Okay, I'm looking forward to experiencing that one eventually, collecting that. Francois, what about you?
I think that's the one where it becomes a baker.
What? How is that a death?
Yeah, you don't necessarily die. Sometimes
Geralt's
you
a
just
baker.
go out of the way if you want. So you retire.
You retire.
Does he actually get a baguette or something?
Yes, it's baking
Him.
baguettes.
I love that for him. Let him chase
Yeah.
his dream.
Wow. Yeah, I'm fearing that our community might want to want us to make a game about Geralt the
Baking?
Baker. You know,
Yeah.
maybe that's the new game from Nerial. Who knows?
I think my favorite death, we haven't, maybe we'll encounter it because I keep seeming to encounter it, is the eyeball in the beer. And it was just like, oh wow, the aim, it just went right into the cup.
Yeah.
Wait, you never had you never had an
My eyeball
eyeball
never
in a
popped
beer?
that into
yeah?
a beer? No, not yet, but you know, we'll see if we encounter it here. So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide how to balance this out. Actually, I think.
Sorry. Just one interesting thing is
Yes.
you got an inspiration card, which is this one, which is give you foresight of the effect. So when you swipe, you see
That's what
the
the
actual
numbers are.
effects.
Oh.
I see. I think because that was one of the community questions where they wanted to maybe get some tips on how to balance everything better, especially the inspirations. Is there anything that you can kind of help us with on that? I could use the help right now, I think.
Yeah, I think a bit like Francois was just saying, it can be good. Some of the inspirations have certain synergies between them, if you like. So there are some that decrease the amount that a value changes, and also ones that will let you see like this, like anticipate changes as well. So sometimes those can synergize in ways that make it a little more friendly.
Yeah. A general rule that's quite useful is when you encounter a mage or sorceress, for example, if you say yes to them, you probably have a higher reputation with the mage. Okay, so generally there's some characters are really associated to one of the three factions. So saying yes to them will bring value up. Saying no will bring the value down. So that's a small tip.
I'm at one of those ends again.
Oh no!
It's the same.
So actually, we've spoken about death many times, and that it's a core element of Rain games, including Rain's Witcher. But what about survival? Like I know that survival is counted in days in the game. So is that the ultimate goal of the game? You would say that to survive as long as you can, or maybe the ultimate goal is gathering all the inspirations. Maybe it's gathering all the deaths. What would you say is the ultimate goal of Rain's The Witcher?
Well, yes, we kind of have two goals now when you're doing the runs, because on the one hand, there's a goal of having long runs like we had before, but we've got a slightly more involved system now of the scoring of each run. So it's also in your interest to try to pursue these inspirations, find new characters, find new deaths. And then the ultimate goal is that at the end of each run, as you do that, you get experience, and that will level up Dandelion, and every level is like a slightly better job title, if you like, and he's going up to ultimately Dandelion the Immortal to perform such a legendary song that he's immortalized.
You know, I'm bad at rhythm games, so maybe this is why I'm having so much trouble.
But Nare,
Yes.
I think you told me that your longest run has been what, like 30 days, I think?
It's true. I swear, I'm not making it up. You can go into my save file. My shortest run also was 4 days.
Francois, what is the record in Rain's The Witcher right now after launch? Is there already a world record of How
think
long?
so,
Somebody
yeah.
survived?
Yes, someone messaged and they've gone for over 130 days.
You can
That
go
was
130
impressive.
days.
Yes.
I have a
Wow.
new goal now. 30 seems too small.
Yeah, you gotta go big or
Yeah,
go
you gotta
home.
be.
Well, I won my first combat.
Yay!
Coin is now available with your shield or on it.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, I can breathe easy now. But I didn't die, which feels a bit empty
Is
or
that a
not.
familiar face I see?
I think I know him.
Who is he?
He looks familiar, but I'm not sure. Empty your mind, take deep breaths. Okay.
The reason I'm asking about familiar faces is that when we've been playing, we've noticed a couple of characters we know and love from The Witcher 3. So,
Yeah.
who will we meet on our adventures?
So we have Yen and Triss. That seemed
I'll have a
obvious.
question about that, later down the line.
And they work quite well as a binary choice as well, choosing between the two. So that worked well in the game. And then we have Ciri can make an appearance, Vesemir. You can get drunk with Zoltan and Regis and Dijkstra. The Bloody Baron is there, and it was quite fun. Players might notice some riffs on Bloody Baron quests from Witcher 3. Yeah.
If you don't mind, there was also a community question that said they heard about secret endings. Is that something you can kind of allude to? Maybe not too much, but
Yes. Well, the Easter egg I was mentioning earlier kind of counts as one of those.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of other, again, hidden paths at the right at the end game, if you like. You're trying to achieve immortality for Dandelion himself, and
humble man.
yes. And again, there's a more, if you like, impressive way to do it, but there are other ways that he can live on forever
Oh.
at the end. Yes.
Thank you for the hint. It's kind of nerve-wracking because I can see the flashing green.
Yeah, you're just one choice away from encountering another monster.
Yes.
Monster.
So my parents died tragically. The wraiths haunt Fox Hollow, but it's my only connection to them. That is a very gray moral choice. Conduct a burial ritual. Chop them down. What should
Do
I
it.
do what?
Do
Chop
it.
them down?
Yes.
Down.
I mean, why not? Like, what's the word that?
You wanted to put me in this position.
I mean, like, ever since you started playing, I see you fighting different monsters. Like,
Yes.
I've mostly been encountering, I believe, Neckers. Like, and
Yeah.
somehow you keep getting new
Different
monsters,
monsters.
and more and
Yeah.
more of them.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm very stressed. Oh my god.
This was a fun one to do as well because, like I was saying, we tried to incorporate things from The Witcher 3 and translate them in. And in this, you have to stand on the Erden sign to then be able to damage the Wraith. So that was quite nice to translate.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It must have been, like, we talked about challenges before, but I guess this must have been quite challenging to try and, like, have all these complex RPG mechanics from The Witcher 3, try and minimize them into the Rain style, which in and of itself is beautiful, obviously, and works really, really well, but, like, it's still, you don't have as many possibilities, right?
Yeah.
No, completely. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the Reigns is all about, I suppose, distilling things into minimalist encounters. I mean, in some ways, that's what, again, was great with The Witcher is we could just open up The Witcher 3, open up Sapkowski's books, immediately find dozens of quests, moments, memes, and then just go about trying to distill those into individual cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the art is really, really nice. I've gone through a lot of deaths, I feel like.
Yes,
But you also survived 15 days, right?
Yeah.
So
That's success.
halfway to my original goal, but not to 100 and what was it?
130 plus.
Yeah.
That's a whole 100 more days than I
Yeah.
survived.
115.
Is there a specific strategy I can try to use to get to 130 days in general? Not 130 deaths, but 130 days?
Well, you might have to ask them, not me. I've never got that far. But
Send me their info. I'll reach out to them.
They did play for 35 hours.
Yes,
Oh.
if not more, I think. Yeah.
All right,
Very
Martins,
cool.
we have a new goal.
But
Yes,
one thing
yes.
I suppose is as you play more of the mini games, as you were struggling with those, for instance, you Geralt, if you like, levels up as you play on. So you get more signs, upgraded signs, critical damage, some more health,
So
things like that.
there's also a way to make the fight a bit slower if you want.
Okay.
It's a bit- because sometimes for some people it's a bit too quick.
Okay.
But yeah.
I might need that because rhythm games and I don't know
Well,
really.
I think we all need a little bit of that sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, so that was so much fun. We ran into a lot of deaths, a lot of scenarios, got a lot of inspirations, and I think we're pretty much experts in Reigns the Witcher now, right?
Or close to. Obviously, they're the real experts.
Close
but
to it.
we're getting there, I
We're
think.
getting there. Okay. Well, thank you both so much for joining. This was a lot of fun, a lot of great conversations. And thank you for watching as well. And make sure you follow CD Projekt Red, Nerial, and Devolver social channels for all information on Reigns the Witcher available now. So go play it, go tag us in your runs. We want to see and hear it all.
And with that, I think it's time for a wrap.